Welcome to the teardown of the AlphaFly version number 1. Now, these are not my AlphaFlies. These are a pair that I bought on the cheap, and I feel absolutely terrible cutting up any shoe at all, because you know they could go to a really good home, but these, as you can see, are towards the end of their life, on the basis that there's kind of no repairing this. These are at sort of end of their life, so what better way to send it off than to chop it up and see what's inside. So let's give it a go. So this atom knit upper, as I've said before, reminds me of an orange bag. So an orange bag, and it's really different to the Vapor weave. I don't think it's as coarse as the Vapor weave. I think it actually got a bit more flex in it, and this pair compared to mine have been used more, so it's actually quite a lot of flex. And the laces on these, get a close up of laces, have these teeth in them, and they do tend to stay tight. So it's the one thing from these I definitely will keep, because these are fantastic laces. So I paid £20 for this shoe, and as I say, this has come to the end of its life. Now, interestingly enough, the sole on this looks really quite good actually. So the midsole actually feels pretty good. Creasing, it's actually not too bad, but when you buy a pair of these, they do crease. So don't be too concerned about that. Is that these will crease, and there is you can see there, you've got the air zoom pods, and on these the AirPods are at the front. So you have a layer of foam, and then you have the pods, and they do make for a really propulsive ride. So you've got your carbon plate that runs all the way through, your fly plate or inner plate, I can't think what it's called, but we can check that out when we open it up. So let's start by having a look. So take out the soles. The soles won't come out there, so you just start to take this apart. As you can see, it's quite tough actually. Just going to take off the sock-like upper. As I'm cutting this up, it's actually quite tough, either because the knife I think is quite dull, but it actually seems like it's quite tough. It's definitely like a sock, so to be careful here in case cutting my fingers off, but actually seems pretty tough. So actually the heel counter, what's really interesting already is that, as you can see the parts here, the heel counter is actually thicker. So there's a inner part here to the heel counter, and actually the support on this heel bit here is actually really good. As you can see, it's definitely meant for comfort. Absolutely meant for comfort. It's actually quite a lot, considering a lot of race shoes try to give you as little as they possibly can towards the heel. This has got quite a thick heel counter and quite thick support, and you can tell that these have never rubbed on the back. So whatever they've put on here is actually really quite good, and there's more structure toward the heel counter here. So if you just see the socket upper type in towards the back, is really quite thick. So actually quite impressed. So I'm going to try not. So we've now detached the upper, and really impressed with the heel on this. So the heel counter is really good and supportive. Now we're going to look at the midsole, where all of the magic happens, and for me this is the best combination still to this day. And I have tried the number 2 version, but this AlphaFly, the weight, and I don't know if it's the foam structure and the combination of this particular shoe, but for me it just really works. So I'm gonna see if we can tear off this midsole piece. Let's see what's underneath. So the midsole doesn't look like it comes out easily, so it looks like this is glued down. So as such, it's more of a glued down piece of cloth. I don't know what that is. So now and you have a layer of the socket. So this is a complete, this atom knit clearly sits all the way around the shoe, and is glued in at the bottom there, and obviously sits around the shoe. So hence that's why you get that really good fit. And now that it's off, it's definitely more flexible. So let's have a look and see what we can find inside. So the ZoomX heel counter, so it's P-Bax material, which is really good. So let's see if we can split. So it looks like it's sandwiched together there. So let's see if we can split up the sandwich. This goes through this material and go through it to a point. Let's see if we can get through. Midsole material. And I'm crying inside just by splitting these open. So, and I'm really sorry to those of you who really want a pair of these, but I promise you these are at the end of their life, and definitely towards the end of their life. So let's see if we can separate this out. Not really clear where that actually sits. I'm guessing it's probably going to be at this bottom part here. I'm going to try and get some more of this off. Sandwiched on top. skin, so this forms the sock layer, goes all the way around the AlphaFly. There's a number there to show you. Let's see if we can get these pods off without cutting my hand open. So there's a bed there for, so I don't know if you can see that. So there's a bed there, and it looks like the rubber's actually attached in one piece. So the AirPods, the Zoom X, the Zoom AirPods look like they are all part of this rubber part here. And you'll be pleased to know it's actually quite difficult to pull this off. Oh, I need to start going to the gym a little bit more by this, whatever this plastic component part is here. So I don't know if this is a carbon tie there. Looks like this is a plastic tie. And we've got an AirPod off. Zoom AirPod. The unit here looks like an interesting piece there, and this obviously looks like it's still intact. So, and it is quite propulsive. Let's see if we can get into these AirPods. Yes. Now you've got a sharp enough, that makes this a bit easier. So what's inside? Wow. You've got these attached, so you can see. These little fibres inside. So as you push, they expand back. Like little really soft fibres inside the AirPod unit. So this whole one piece here is a whole plate. You can see here. So if you were to try and strip this off, to follow that line down with the plate. Actually, with the plate in hand, when you then go to move the plate in hand, it's actually not as sturdy as you might think, because it's a carbon plate in it, and it definitely has some spring, but with all the elements around the plate and where everything sits in and on this plate, the reason why when you go to flex it, it snaps back is clearly not just the plate in play here. There's obviously the foaming, because if I do this, it's going to snap. So if I do that, it would definitely snap in place. So it's quite an interesting piece how the pod is actually attached to the carbon plate on both sides. So the carbon plate is completely exposed on the forefoot, other than the pods and rubber with this little bit of foam here. So as you strike the floor, you've got the support there. So it's pretty much all pod, along with a little bit of this foam here. And sadly, there it is. torn down AlphaFly. That's what you pay £280 for.